A female elephant is sedated on open ground in Assam. The research team moves back. Distance, stillness, wait for the collar to be fitted and the reversal drug to take effect. The herd has scattered. The clearing is quiet. Then an adult male appears at the tree line. He had no prior bond with her, no documented history. He was not her kin. He moved directly toward her anyway. He reached her. He began pushing, positioning his body against hers, applying pressure, attempting to move her. The research team, watching from a distance, understood what they were seeing. He was trying to get her up. He could not have known what sedation was. He had no way of understanding a dart, a drug, a procedure. What he could see was a female of his species, horizontal and unresponsive, in open ground, and he responded to that as he would respond to any animal in his social world that needed to be moved, by trying to move her. The research team from Biotropica had been attempting to GPS collar wild Asian elephants in the Sonitpur district of Assam, northeast India, at the edge of tea estates and grassland where female-led herds move through in winter. The procedure is standard. Dart the animal, wait for sedation, fit the collar, administer the reversal drug, withdraw. 20 minutes if everything holds. What nobody had planned for was what the other elephants would do. On the first occasion, the male approaching was not from her herd. No documented association with her. He moved toward the sedated female with what the researchers described in their field notes as directed intent. He was not fleeing. He was not alarmed in the way of an animal responding to threat. The second observation followed the same pattern. A different location, a different female, a different male. Sedated during a collaring attempt, lying still. Another male, again with no prior bond, approached and attempted to assist. He see pushing, positioning, trying to restore her to her feet. Two separate events, two separate males. The same behaviour, unprompted, in both. The researchers classified what they observed as a specific category in the animal behaviour literature. Action taken by one individual to aid another in distress, at potential cost to the helper, without apparent direct benefit to themselves. It has been documented in ants, in dolphins, in chimpanzees. The criteria are deliberately stringent. The behaviour must be directed, it must benefit the individual in need, and it must involve some cost or risk to the helper. Both Assam observations met them. Picture the male in those minutes, still pushing, repositioning, trying again, while the female beneath him remains completely still. The effort on one side, the silence on the other. What neither male received in either case was anything in return. The female was eventually revived and moved off. The male withdrew. There was no reciprocal exchange, no observable benefit, just a decision, if that word applies, to move toward an animal in trouble and try to help. But a single male in a clearing is one data point. What happens when you give elephants the same choice in a controlled setting? When the stakes are visible, the outcome is measurable and the camera is running, is a different kind of evidence entirely. What the elephants did was not simply pull. They waited. At a conservation centre in Lampang, Thailand, Joshua Plotnick and Franz de Waal had set up a task used to study cooperation in chimpanzees since the 1930s. Two ends of a rope threaded through a platform. Both ends had to be pulled simultaneously to slide the platform and the food on it within reach. One elephant pulling alone would simply yank the rope free. The only way to get the food was together. When one elephant arrived at its end of the rope before its partner, it held position, sometimes for up to 45 seconds, without pulling. Not because it had been trained to wait, because it understood from the design of the task that pulling without its partner would accomplish nothing. It inhibited its own response. It monitored the other elephant's position, and when both were ready, they pulled. One elephant, a young female named Nu, found a different solution entirely. She stood on her end of the rope, not pulling, simply holding it in place with her weight, while her partner did the work. The food arrived. NU had understood the task well enough to solve it without performing the action it was designed to require. The researchers described this as partner-oriented attention, a quality distinct from simple cooperation, requiring an animal to model the other's role in the task, to understand what the partner needs to do, and to adjust its own behaviour accordingly. The same cognitive quality identified in chimpanzees and in crows, present in elephants, demonstrated across dozens of trials, expressed through a rope and a platform and a food bowl in Lampang. Picture Nu in that moment. Not pulling, not reaching, simply standing on her end of the rope with her full weight while the food slid within reach. The task solved, without the action the task was built to require. What connects Lampang to Assam is the same underlying question. Both require an elephant to orient toward another individual, to read that individual's state, to understand what is needed, and to act accordingly even when the benefit to the helper is absent or deferred. In Lampang, the benefit was shared food eventually. In Assam, there was no benefit at all. The rope task showed that elephants can hold another's need in mind while suppressing their own immediate response. What the rope task cannot answer is what happens when there is no task, no food, no platform, no experimental design. Just an animal in trouble and another animal deciding what to do about it? Consider what the male in Assam was not doing. He was not responding to a distress call. She was sedated, silent. He was not helping a family member. She was not his kin. He was not protecting a resource or establishing a social position. He was not doing anything that the dominant explanations for helping behaviour in animals, kin selection, reciprocal exchange, signal response, would predict. He was moving toward an unrelated, unresponsive female in open ground, in the presence of an unknown research team with nothing to gain. The 2025 Biotropica paper was careful about what it claimed. 2 events. Small sample, motivations unmeasurable. What it said was that both observations met the criteria the animal behaviour literature uses for rescue behaviour, directed at potential cost to the helper with no apparent benefit in return. That puts the Assam males in specific company. Ants that carry injured nestmates from battle, dolphins that support dying companions at the surface, chimpanzees that intervene in fights between unrelated individuals. A short list. The bar for joining it is deliberately high. Picture the African cases that were already on that list before Assam. An elephant approaches a companion and removes a tranquilizer dart from its body with its trunk. Another works a spear free from the hide of an animal it has been moving alongside. A third pulls a plastic bag from a calf's mouth, an object the calf has no way of identifying as dangerous, a threat only the older animal's experience can read. Each of those acts required the same thing. Notice that something is wrong with a specific other. Identify what is wrong. Take action to address it. The Assam males were doing something that belongs in that same place. How common any of this is remains unknown. The collaring operations that produced the Assam observations were not designed to find this. They were designed to study movement ecology. What the researchers documented was a side event, noticed because someone was watching, written up because it was too specific to ignore, published because it met a threshold the literature requires. How many times it has happened without anyone watching is not something the data can answer. The male in Assam did not know what sedation was. He could not have understood the dart, the drug, the collar, the research team watching from the tree line. What he saw was a member of his species lying still and unresponsive on open ground, and he crossed the clearing toward her. What the Lampang rope and the Assam clearing have in common is not the setting or the scale. It is the orientation, one animal turning its attention toward another, reading what that other needs, and adjusting its own behaviour accordingly. In Lampang, the adjustment was waiting. In Assam, it was crossing open ground towards something that made no sense. Whether the male chose to help in any sense the word usually carries is a question the biology literature holds open with appropriate care. Choice implies something about internal states and deliberation that field observation cannot reach. What the field observation can say is what happened. He came, he tried, and he did not stop trying until the team intervened. The term the researchers applied, rescue behaviour, is the most precise available for what was documented. It is also in plain language exactly what it looked like. Next time, there is no election, no campaign, no vote. But when the oldest female in a herd is gone, something happens in the weeks that follow that researchers have only recently begun to document. A reorganisation, a period of instability, and eventually a resolution that the herd arrives at without any visible process. What drives it, and what it reveals about how elephants understand authority, age, and the weight of accumulated knowledge is one of the most quietly extraordinary findings in elephant social science.